Okay, Hillary, here we are again.
We're at a really cool place tonight.
Just because you want to be the first canine officer with a Labrador.
Well, I just think Wallace was bred for greatness and he hasn't had his opportunity yet.
How is he going to chase down a criminal? He's like a pillow with legs.
Excuse me, he's been on his weight loss journey and we are down 5 pounds. And the vet did say, I'm never going to be able to feel his ribs, and that's okay.
Well, at least he can lick a criminal to death.
And wouldn't that be adorable?
Oh my God. Well, stay tuned for a great episode at the Helena Police Department with Chief Chris Hartley.
Woo! Hi, Chris. Well, both Chris's.
Hello.
We have 2 Chris.
Well, you just ruined the surprise.
I'm sorry. Well, we have a great surprise tonight. We have the one and only police chief of St. Helena.
For a very long time. Like
Yes.
20 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the Marine Corps.
Yep.
FBI trained.
Cool.
That's my fun facts for tonight.
That's great.
I thought those were pretty cool.
A motorcycle officer
Yes.
previously.
And here as a guest
Range
on
master.
911. Range master.
This has got to be one of the crowning achievements of your entire career is being on our podcast.
Absolutely.
I know that-
I couldn't wait for this day to begin.
I didn't harass him at the Harvest Festival or anything to get
No,
him to
we didn't
come
have
on.
any discussions at the Harvest
I'm
Festival.
sorry for my partner Hillary here. It is a very niche podcast. There's like 3 or 4 listeners, so you don't have to worry about saying anything off because no one will hear it.
Our moms.
Our moms might. Let's see. What else? Low production quality, but highly authentic. So thanks for coming on today.
Oh, thanks for having me. This ought to be good.
And Hillary knew that you were on duty, so she got potentially the worst possible non-alcoholic grape juice she could find from Trader
It's
Joe's.
sparkling Chardonnay.
It looks awful.
Well, do you want to try it?
Well, we have to.
Okay,
She
I'll
bought it.
pop it.
Absolutely.
It's made with 100% Chardonnay grapes from Spain.
Cool.
And I just got back from Spain.
Did you?
See?
Wow. Right on.
It's meant to be.
Well, while Hillary's doing that, I am curious about. I guess we should start with the podcast. I mean, with the. We should start with
The police
the
logs?
police log. That's why we're
Yeah,
here.
so we're doing
Yeah.
June 2023, and then we're doing June 1999 in honor of the year you came to St. Helena.
Awesome.
Very cool. Well, should we start off with a good one?
Yeah. Do you have one?
I know
You
the chief has a really, really funny one. I think we should start it off. Let's see. All right, after you, sir.
The raven with its foot caught in the mousetrap on Sylvania. Real thing.
Did that require a case number?
That did not require a case number. We were thinking about running the Raven up to the Queen, but the residents insisted that we just let it go.
Fixed it with a little.
So it flew away with a little kid Band-Aid on it.
Not Dr. Gold.
No, they suggested sending in a hospital. You know,
Oh.
it was a priority call.
Of course,
No.
of course. Let's see. Hell, what do you got?
Well, I have a cat.
Of course.
I have a female calico cat with a blue collar and a ducktail got spooked last night and ran out of the house. That was in 1999. I wonder if that cat's still thriving and well.
Well, I would hope so. But that brings us to a
Well,
great
they have
point.
9 lives, so
Exactly.
I'm curious, since we have the man here, what was St. Leo like in 1999? I guess we could answer that. We were here. But more importantly, what was the police department like day one when you showed up?
you know that's a very good question. Day one when I first showed up, my first day on duty, I believe was when it was at least the first week is when the elementary school caught on fire. And I can remember running around the backside of the elementary school as the windows blew out. And then I see one of our local youths taking off running from the scene. I chased him, tackled him,
Yep.
and the next thing I know, I'm facing a lawsuit.
Wow.
It never went anywhere.
Of course.
But anyways, never did find out who the arson was.
Wow. What a welcome to town.
Wow. And that was 99.
That was 99.
No way.
I remember that. Didn't they close school the next day?
Possibly.
I'm sure they did.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Wow.
Because I would have been at the elementary school at that point.
You would have, yeah. So when you showed up in 99, who was your field training officer? Who was like your boss?
Mike Parsons, of all people.
Oh,
Mike.
we love Mike. Mike's such a great guy.
He is.
Yeah.
So I had Matt Talbot
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and Mike Parsons. a lot of the old timers.
I think Dave Curtin was even still on, right?
Dave Curtin was
Yeah.
still on.
Yeah.
Jack Reinholtz tried to come back. That's
Yeah.
who I was. He had just retired,
Mm-hmm.
and we had an officer that passed away, and I was that officer's replacement. Jack wanted to come back and help train me, and we all know Jack's reputation. And Bert, the chief at the time,
That's right.
said, "No way, there's no way." So Mike Parsons, Matt Talbot, and Dave Curtin were my field training officers.
No way.
Very cool.
That's really neat. Huh. What inspired you? So you had just gotten out of the Marine Corps,
I had.
and what inspired you to get into law enforcement?
You know, when I retired from the Marine Corps, during my retirement speech was part of my goal in life is not just to protect our country, but I want to go home, make a difference, and protect my community at home, which is how I ended up here. At the time, Napa PD wasn't hiring. I had a couple of high school friends that worked for Napa PD who told me that I didn't want to go there at the time anyway. So, and I saw there was an opening here. I applied here. Bert Johansson hopped on an airplane, flew down to San Diego, and did my background down there. So I basically have had no break in career. I stepped out of the door in one right into this one.
So you did 20 years in the Marine Corps,
Yes.
like fully retired, and then right into this.
Yes.
How many days off between the two?
About 2 weeks.
Right on.
I think it's time for a long vacation.
It is.
Well, he just got back from Spain, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 3 weeks.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay. Oh, I think that's pretty good.
But no, you deserve it. So tell us real quick about your career in the Marine Corps.
In the Marine Corps, I went in 1979, right out of high school. I actually hadn't finished high school.
Cool.
So one of the first things they did after boot camp was make sure I achieved my GED, which I did, and later went on to college.
Nice.
I started out as an Amtracker, which is an amphibious assault vehicle. And from there, I did a myriad of things to include being a recon Marine, being a recon instructor down in Coronado on the SEAL base. I did special ops. I did JTF's mission when I got done at the schoolhouse. JTF is part of the Army, but they take special forces from different parts of the country to do counter-narcotics missions.
Which JTF? Was it
It was JTF 6.
6? Okay, cool. Right on.
And anyways, we did counter-narcotics down in Corpus Christi, Texas, and had the largest drug seizure in JTF history at that time.
Wow.
And it was a team that I got to handpick and train myself.
Cool.
So that was one of the highlights of the Marine Corps.
That's cool. And is that kind of what inspired you then to keep going with law enforcement?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to go DEA, but there's an age requirement, and it was 36. And they do not waive it at the time. I don't know if they do now or not, but they don't waive the age, even if you're former military.
Huh. Wow, interesting.
And then I was there for Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Beirut, and Grenada.
Wow. That's two
And now
really...
you're in St. Helena.
And now I'm in St. Helena.
How is the second part of your career compared to the first part in terms of...
They're both very rewarding, but in totally different ways. By the time I became a police officer, I was much more mature. I had a family. I was more about community from all the things that I'd learned overseas and seeing how it is in different countries and stuff, how important community is. You know, you can't survive without it. So coming to a city like this really gave me the opportunity to be part of the community. Even though I live 15 minutes down the road, I've made some great lifelong friends working here, and the community treats me very well, and I do the best to make sure my guys treat our community very well.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, judging from the police log, the St. Helena Police Department takes a lot of roles on that maybe they don't have to or aren't really designed to do, but the folks out there get it done. And
I got in trouble
care
for
of-
putting out a fire, you know, by the fire chief.
Of course, yeah.
You know, we always get there first. And it's when Kevin Toohey was the fire chief. We had a fire over on Allen, and I grabbed the garden hose and put the fire out. And it was a laundry room fire, nothing major. But he showed up and there was nothing for them to do, and I got in trouble.
I love it. Well, you know, the firefighters always want to come drive the police cars.
Oh,
And I don't know if the
absolutely.
cops want to go drive the fire
Well,
trucks.
you know why God gave us firefighters, or gave you police officers.
Let's hear it.
Firefighters need heroes too. I remember we had a big organic spill on Adams Street,
Yeah.
and there's this white powder all over the road. And naturally, I knew what it was. And fire department gets hold of Napa Hazmat, and they come out and they contain the scene.
Yep.
And they're like, "Uh-oh, somebody walked. Whose footprints are going right through the middle of that?" They look over at me, and my boots are white. It was sulfur.
Oh,
Exactly.
A sulfur bag.
I
falling
jumped
out
all the way
back
to
of
like
truck.
meth.
Of course you did. Speaking about drugs,
On that happy topic.
well, I mean, we haven't talked about the JTF. How do you see, like, is there a drug problem in Salem at all? Is there a drug, is this like a
Influence?
corridor, you know? Like, what do you see in from your old experience with the JTF now to here? What do you see the drug trade doing? And
You know, St. Helena is very good. It's a very affluent community, and they're very good about hiding their secrets.
I love it.
That's a good answer.
It does exist here, and it is a corridor between Lake County and the Bay Area,
Mhm.
so we do find it.
Yeah.
You know, with the way politics is these days and legislation, it's almost not a crime for possession anymore, and even possession for sales is a slap on the wrist. So our focus is slowly turning more toward mental health than it is, you know, a drug problem. And when I started here, you know, everything was a felony. Smoking pot was a felony. To now, you know, marijuana is legal. To do it recreationally. You can go to the store and buy it. So, you know, you learn to live in the times.
With the shift on mental health, what does that look like for you guys?
You know, it's
Is
it's
it-
getting better. It was very difficult, and throughout the country, it's created a lot of controversy because police officers were never trained to be clinicians. Yet they're the first ones that have to go out with somebody that's in manic
in
mode.
acute distress, yeah.
And so the police got a lot of really, really bad press with that. We've had incidents here where fortunately we're a small enough department that we are the first to get everybody trained. When they came out with the LGBTQ training, we were the first ones in the county to have it done. When they came out with de-escalation training, every one of our officers was done before anybody else in the entire county. That stuff's very important to me because I don't want to end up on the, you know, 6 o'clock news because of something that was mishandled here in St. Helena.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, how do you feel about the risk of just, I mean, in the last few years, things have changed a lot, and there is more risk to the rank and file. How do you mitigate?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's difficult. I mitigate through our hiring process. You know, everybody by the state's required to go through a psychological background. Well, I personally meet with our psychologist, and I give him what I'm looking for. And I'm not looking for the guy that's timid, because for the past 10 years, all he's seen is cops getting sued or cops going to jail. Our community deserves better. They need somebody that is not afraid to respond and do their job, and know that as long as they do their job and don't lie, I'm going to have their back 100%.
That's huge. Yeah, that's really important. Biggest challenges you faced as the chief?
Hiring. I mean, that's statewide.
Yeah. What about retention? Keeping good people, or just
No,
hiring
I
people?
really have not. I've been very fortunate, knock on wood. When I first started here, turnover was all the time. In the last, since I've been the chief anyways, last 5 or 6 years, turnover has, the only turnover we have is retirements.
Nice.
People that come here and get involved in the community and realize that we are part of the community, I develop a family atmosphere here at the police department, and that carries over into the street. So a lot of, for those reasons, there's a lot of trust amongst each other within our department, and people don't feel the need to leave. There was a concern because we were so far below in pay compared to surrounding agencies. Our new city manager gave our officers a 19% pay increase just to get them up to par with everybody else, and that's really helped with retention as well.
Nice. That's good. Well, I'm glad to see you finally got some new digs as well, because you're kind of in that abandoned.
Yeah, isn't that ironic? The building catches on fire and City Hall moves out and leaves the PD there for a year.
Do you guys have new jail cells here?
We do not. Now when we have an arrest, even a DUI arrest, we'll try and get a hold of a family member to come get them if they're not above a 2-0. If there's nobody to come get them, they go to Napa County Jail.
Wow.
I have memories when I was little with Mike Parsons. Like,
Wait, explain
because
this.
I was friends with his daughter Lauren, so we would go see her dad, and we would go into the jail, because it was the coolest thing ever.
They should have locked you up in there.
All my kids and grandkids, that was their favorite thing to do.
Yes.
And then my daughters with the
so
Paz
cool.
machine when we, have family picnics and stuff here. Dad, let's go blow in the Paz machine. It's like,
That's awesome.
You better blow 000s.
Yeah, really.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of consumption, maybe overly consuming, Friday, June 16th, 11:30, a caller received a suspicious package addressed to him, but he hadn't ordered anything from the company. He opened it and 2 cans containing chocolate were spilled inside.
What if it was something laced chocolate?
Could have been.
How about a driver was trying to parallel park downtown? When she was backing up, the driver behind her honked to let her know there were cars there. The woman who was parking there reportedly flipped off the driver who honked. Police checked the area.
Wow.
Is that a crime to flip someone off?
No, road rage is. If somebody's that angry that they feel that they got to give you the bird, just a heads up is good to know.
Okay.
Huh.
Not necessarily a crime, but it could turn into something at the next red light.
Okay.
For sure.
Because we have had that
Okay.
Huh. Interesting.
full-on fisticuffs at a red light.
Very nice. Okay. Would you say people are, in general, more mild-mannered in Napa because everyone's happy and drinking wine and the sun is shining, or
We
do
hope
you get a
they're
lot
not
of
driving.
or do you get a lot of angry people?
We get a mixture, and it's funny, nothing against New York, but New Yorkers are the worst when it comes to DUIs and complying with police instructions.
That's funny.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
on that, do you find most DUIs are as a result of tourism or as a result of locals drinking? And tourism being wine tasting.
We do get our share of tourists,
Mm-hmm.
wine, so-called wine tasting, and then they're in the center of the valley. They talk to anybody in town, and Anna's Canteen is the place to go. Next thing you know, they're getting pulled over for DUI.
Yeah.
But honestly, we have more DUIs from locals, and not just local St. Helena, but local Napa County is the majority of our DUIs. And DUIs is still, to this day, our largest issue with crime.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I remember Mike Parsons saying that. He always said he could count on 2 hands how many DUIs he'd given from tourist wine tasting, but a bunch of locals at night. So
I believe that.
yeah, makes sense. Here's an interesting one. This is June 17th, 1541. A flock camera spotted a stolen vehicle. Calistoga police pulled over the vehicle at Foothill and Petrified Forest, and the driver ran away on foot. St. Helena police assisted. 2 questions there. Flock cameras.
Correct.
I want to hear about that. And then what was up with the chase? Anyway, so let's hear about the flock camera.
The flock cameras are the latest and greatest tool for law enforcement. A lot of people worry about privacy issues and their constitutional rights. Well, your registration, your vehicles are permission for you to drive. It doesn't, if you're going to be on a public roadway, then you're under public scrutiny. The flock cameras, they don't record speed. They don't take pictures of people inside the car. The only thing they take a picture of is the back of the car, and it's you'll get the vehicle color, the license plate, and a lot of times the vehicle make. We have already solved numerous crimes here in St. Helena with it.
Wow.
We had a rash of residential burglaries, and we pulled up the flock camera video for the entire weekend between midnight and 3 a.m. And we recognized one of the vehicles. And to make a long story short, we worked with NSIB and Napa PD, and it was a local Napa family that was coming up here, and they hadn't just done it here, they'd also hit several wineries and taken solar panels and tens of thousands of dollars worth of
Wow.
stuff.
Wow.
No way.
And that was all from the flock camera. We are supposed to have 4 of them. We contracted for 4 to cover every entrance in and out of the city limit. We cover about 70% now with just 2 cameras.
Nice.
I'm not going to give you, of course. I'm
So
not
can
gonna
you
give
tell us
I
the
was
where
gonna
they
say the location.
But the one you're talking about in Calistoga, they have 3 or 4 cameras now, and they're still waiting on one. Dealing with Caltrans, the bureaucracy there is difficult to get anything put on a highway. With that being said, as soon as Calistoga called out a pursuit, we send somebody. Same thing if we hear the sheriff's department or CHP's in a pursuit in the north part of the county, we automatically start rolling somebody to that location. While we were rolling, Calistoga called and requested emergency cover.
Nice.
So we got up there, and the driver had foot bailed, and apparently their officer, they do not have canine, and their officer lost them. They did have the vehicle was stolen, which is why they got the flock hit. They were able to obtain fingerprints and later identify the driver
Nice.
of the vehicle.
Did they roll them up eventually?
There's a warrant out for him right now.
Oh, soon. Yeah.
So if we see him.
Exactly.
Yes, Hillary.
And they did.
Hillary the private eye.
They did put out a flyer.
Nice. Interesting.
How quick are these flock cameras? Like, is it immediate? Like
Immediate. As
Okay.
soon as a car with a stolen plate goes
And then
by
how
it,
are you guys alerted? Does it like come through?
it flashes on the dispatcher's screen,
Okay.
and dispatchers can notify the officers that we had a flock hit, 1 minute ago at blah, blah, blah.
With
Cool.
license and everything, yeah.
Right, and it's this type of vehicle, and this is what plate number was.
Interesting.
As time goes on, once we have the other 2 installed, then flock will be able to directly flash on the mobile computers inside the vehicles and let the officer know, like right now. So there's no lag time between the hit on the camera, going to dispatch, and then getting dispatched to that call. It'll go straight to the cars.
Nice. Now, does that system aggregate further between, or more between just St. Helena and Calistoga? Is it a statewide or countywide or?
It is predominantly statewide now, and it's growing rapidly. The East Coast has them. The Midwest, they're slower at everything. But we can share, and we do share with everybody in Napa, basically everybody in the Bay Area.
Very cool.
Interesting. Have you had citizens, like, I know one of your jobs is probably to attend city council meetings and brief people, and have you had any concerns about, like you said, privacy and anyone getting worked up, and how do you?
Well, trying to get we had a different council when we introduced the need for flock cameras, and we did get some flack back from one of our city council members, but it was nothing more than educating him.
Yeah. Cool.
And when we go through that process at a city council meeting, flock, if you need them, we'll have somebody that can zoom into the council meeting to answer questions that the layperson may or may not know.
Nice. Right on.
And I mean, in comparison to like other countries, this is minimal compared to privacy. Like I'm thinking about the UK where there's cameras every single place.
And Italy.
Yeah, every single place you turn.
Right, New York.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about like how someone got in a fight on the tube, and we go to the next stop, and the I don't know, UK police. I'm not sure the proper name. The bobbies. The bobbies are already there waiting. Yeah, I mean, I was just observing.
Sure. Well, it can get Orwellian pretty fast, right? But
with the threat of terrorism being real, it has really showed the need for not surveillance of the normal, everyday citizen, but for things out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Do you guys ever have to work with more of your federal agencies on?
I meet with them once a month. I have a direct line to the FBI as a alumni.
Yeah. There you go.
My lieutenant just got back from the FBI Academy.
Cool.
I'm grooming him to take my spot sooner than later.
Nice.
But we do sting operations with the state, with California Licensing Board, and we do stings with ABC. And those are state government entities. A lot of times, the county jails have become revolving doors. I mean, we've literally arrested people and have taken them to Napa, where they do the intake. By the time the officer's done filling out the paperwork and gets back to St. Helena, that person's already back.
Sounds like an emergency room.
Wow. Of course.
Well, sometimes they show back up with the bracelet that we just discharged them with.
Very nice. Yeah. Revolving door. So, yeah, and as a city municipality, you don't have any real control over, it's all run for the DA, right?
Correct.
So the DA decides who gets charged with
Well,
what.
it is the DA decides on charges.
Okay.
As far as who's kept in the jail or just given cited and released out the back door, that's up to the jail.
Okay.
The jail is ran by the state.
Okay. See, I thought the jail was state. I mean, was it
It's county controlled, but I'm looking for her title. The corrections CEO is that paid for by the state.
Okay. Interesting.
How about with the influence of Ring cameras and things like that? Because that's all new in your career. Has that made a big influence?
It's the Ring cameras are a great preventative, but we cannot use a Ring camera in a courtroom.
Really?
Correct.
Huh.
It's not we can't control it, and the Ring cameras can be manipulated.
If someone enters that into a courtroom.
But that doesn't mean that you can't bring it to me,
Right.
and I'm not going to do my due diligence and investigate that and prove otherwise, or prove that is the suspect.
Yeah.
It helps us with our investigations, but we can't testify to the Ring camera in court.
Interesting.
I didn't know that. Right
I
on.
didn't either. Good fun facts.
There you go. Right on. What else?
Do you have any fun logs?
I mean, there's a report of a reckless motorcyclist going 100 miles an hour down Pratt Avenue on June 17th. Have any comments on that?
Yeah, I wonder who had their radar gun on them. There's such a misconception. I mean, we do have speed. Ever since COVID, I don't know if driving habits went out the window or people picked up bad habits because cops in California were not being proactive, because if one cop gets sick, brings it back here, next thing you know, the community doesn't have a police department. So everything was reactive work. So they weren't making all the car stops. I have some stats I'm going to give you before we're done.
Love it.
Just so you have a and the public kind of has an idea what we do. I'm getting ready to give the spiel for our annual report to City Council at the end of the month.
Okay.
But there's a few numbers I think you'll find
That'd be good.
interesting.
Yeah. So what else do you have to do in that annual report? You talk about status of the force and focus what you're
I
focusing
talk
on?
about our how many employees we have, what our accomplishments were. I'm given goals by City Council every year and by the city manager that I have to meet. Plus, I have my own goals. Like I set goals for myself. I want to to start outfitting our patrol vehicle fleet with electric vehicles. We just purchased our first 2 all-electric vehicles for patrol.
Wow.
And we actually got them for less cost than a gas vehicle.
No way.
Yeah. It's the new Ford Mustang
Yeah.
Ease.
And it's an actual police, like an interceptor model police, or it's okay, really?
Yeah.
No way.
You know, and you figure since I've been here, our furthest pursuit was Winters.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And it was actually my son that was in that pursuit.
He was being chased.
No. he used to work for the police department.
I was ready for a very fun
He's
story.
a sheriff deputy down in American Canyon right
Nice.
now. But he got into a pursuit from here of a local all the way to Winters before the suspect crashed.
Roll them up. Wow, that's pretty amazing that he got through, assuming 128 Lake Berryessa without rolling it up.
Night.
Wow.
That is impressive.
What was he running for?
He had a warrant,
Okay.
and it was a stolen vehicle.
Okay.
He must have known about that.
Let's say if he was
running.
if he was drinking, he probably wouldn't have made it that far. That's impressive.
What are some of your career highlights? Are there any things that stand out to you?
Our sense of humor, because we're a little calloused, is totally not acceptable to most people.
From the Marines to the police officer, yeah, you're right. I can imagine.
I think some of the highlights I've had, the biggest one is being able to work in a community that really cares about their police department and their public safety and has always supported them. So a lot of the feelings like Vallejo PD or Richmond or Oakland or, the issues that those large agencies have with their communities, we don't have here. And I think it's because we're small enough that we can openly communicate and have dialogue with. And there's more of an understanding from our public of what it is we do and what we don't do.
Nice.
And the fact that we're small, I can invest a lot more time in the selection process on making sure we get the right people that are the right fit.
Is this more of a career beginner for people, or do people go work in other places then come here?
It used to be, they used to call it a stepping stone. You come here, do your 2 or 3 years, get your post certificate, and bounce to another agency. Anymore, I'd say it's about 50-50 between guys or officers that have experience and having to hire a brand new one. And getting the experienced officers is a lot more beneficial to the community and to the city as cost-wise. Having to pay somebody to put them through the academy and they don't make the academy, that you're still out that money. Trying to get somebody just to pass a background these days is difficult. Our backgrounds are very intense, and we haven't changed. Even though hiring is getting really hard, a lot of the larger agencies have relaxed some of their standards. I won't do that.
What is involved in so I know you have to do the academy and then a background. I assume obviously no felonies and things like that.
Correct.
But
I mean, if you've had a DUI within the past 3 years, you're not. Even though marijuana is legal, if you've smoked within the last 6 months, I'm not going to touch you. Because you're going into this line of work, unless you just woke up one morning and decided I'm going to be a cop. I don't want that type of person anyway.
Yeah. Do you have to do a lie detector test?
Yes. They go through, an intensive background, do all of your criminal history. We do all your neighborhood checks. We check with all of your former employees. We check with the IRS. We check all the bank records. We pull your driving record. You do a polygraph. Once you pass the poly, then we'll set you up for a psych. So you get a full psych exam, and that's the one where, they want to make sure that
You're stable.
You're stable, and secondly, that you're a right fit for that agency. somebody from Calistoga might not be a good fit for here or vice versa. Every community's different.
Hillary, do you think you could pass with all that now knowing all this?
Absolutely.
Have you ever had any run-ins with the St. Helena Police Department on an unofficial basis?
On
Or I
an
guess an
unofficial?
official basis.
Like with
Maybe
work?
Halloween
Yeah.
once or twice.
I was gonna say with work on an official basis, but it was nothing.
You've not been in trouble.
I knock on wood, have no
Except for losing-
criminal charges.
Losing a couple
I
dogs.
have been in the log for losing a dog. I was dog sitting, but I found it. It was hiding under the porch. I think in high school a few times when we filled our car with balloons, and apparently when you can't see out the windows, it's frowned upon. Things like that. But
Well, I'm glad.
I don't know if the physical test is up my alley right now, but
Well, we did
That
see a
6-foot wall seems a little daunting.
Yeah, but as far as
Well-
background clearance, I have to, with my current jobs and licenses, I can prescribe narcotics. Obviously, I can't be having.
Well, the reason I asked is
charges.
Hillary was really looking closely at the posting for a police officer job here, and I think she's curious.
Well,
so.
I said I have my motorcycle license, so I could be
The next motor
Yeah.
officer.
She
Can
could
I
be.
use my Vespa though? Is the question. Does it have to be a full bike?
Your Vesta will probably beat a Prius.
Okay.
That's about it.
We can put some lights on it. The lights wouldn't be able to be blue and red; they'd have to be pink for Hillary. So
There you go.
pink and green. Oh my gosh!
But how do people? Important
Uh-huh.
question. What does it take to drive the volunteer car around? I saw that in the parking
We
lot.
have our volunteer program, which is dwindled. It's we're getting ready to open the door for more volunteers
Oh.
to come in.
There's
But
a chance.
they go through a mini background.
Okay, I'll pass.
Yes, and they go through a driving school, which
Okay.
is
I'm ready.
it's not
Like an Evoc-ish.
yeah
emergency
Evoc-ish,
vehicle. Yeah, okay.
but it's set up by the PD, not by the state. And they go through a little mini academy,
Okay.
and they learn how
How's
to use
that
the
6
radio.
foot wall?
and-
Is that
No,
involved?
there's no, other than being able to, walk from here to the car.
Oh
or
yeah,
put
I-
up some cones
we're
at
on
the
a
scene of an
30-minute
accident.
Peloton journey right now, so I'll
There
be
you go.
fine.
So what do you ask of the volunteers?
It's basically just that, volunteer. I do National Night Out every year. We do the Harvest Festival every year. We participate when Napa County OES does their events. So they help us with all of our events. I do a family day just for the police department every year, where they're included. We include them in everything, just they're part of the family. If we have, say, the parade, they'll help us out with traffic control.
Sounds right up Hillary's alley. She can see all of her friends. She can can her dog Wally ride in the back as like a canine volunteer.
Be part of the pet parade, right?
Mine is my goal to be a pet parade judge. I'm setting my sights high. Well, but I have to go back for a second. Do you
Yeah.
think you would pass
Polly or
the
background?
whole background?
I have a TSSCI clearance. Yes, I pass. I hope.
I'm just wondering.
Oh,
Just checking.
You never know, though. There could be some
Warrants out there.
shady warrants, and
As
it
we
would have to be a
leave,
local,
actually,
very
we're both
local
getting
warrant.
arrested. You know?
I was gonna say.
Surprise! End of the episode.
Oh, that would be good. That'd be great for social media.
Well, I do have a caller brought in some domestic bunnies that were found near Hunt and Railroad. You guys took them to a local vet for evaluation.
Yes. He did not look well.
Oh, poor Bun.
Yeah.
The local bunny.
What are we going to do with the rabbit? We have a kennel.
Raise it as your own.
We have a kennel for dogs.
Which I just learned
Yeah, and if
about.
we took it home on our own, then we'd be
Stealing
in
a bunny.
trouble stealing a bunny. That's livestock. That's a felony.
Oh my goodness.
Stealing livestock,
really?
heck yeah.
Wow.
Good to know.
Very good.
What
Yeah.
about
On the
dogs,
side, I
though?
have
If you
a
steal a
kennel
dog,
range,
is that a felony?
Yes.
Because that's livestock too.
Well, no, that's a domestic animal. But again, that's a good question. I believe it's a misdemeanor,
Okay.
depending on the,
So if you're going to steal
because
an
some
animal-
dogs are worth over $10,000.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's
If
true.
if that's the case, then it's felony.
Wallace for sure is, in my opinion.
And I was gonna say, in your opinion, what is one of the best or funniest memories of an interesting, I don't know, crime or a funny event that happened in St. Helena?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I've been trying to think of stuff that would be appropriate to say.
Is there HIPAA in this job? Like, can you go arrest someone the next day and be like, oh my God, guess who I arrested? Or is there like a privacy thing?
Any arrest is public information.
Okay.
Huh.
You can go to any county's jail logs.
Oh, I
and
do
see-
that the day after Halloween every year. Look at the mugshots.
Yeah.
And
See who's been arrested. That doesn't mean they've been convicted.
Yes.
But yeah, an
So that
arrest
you can
is
talk
public
about it.
information.
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
Now, if it's an ongoing investigation, then you're not going to get any information.
Okay.
You can't go pull a police report on somebody else.
Okay.
You have to be directly involved in the report.
Okay.
And then all names are redacted from that report.
Okay. Okay. Now we can answer your question. I was just curious, like, what are the things, like a HIPAA of police?
Sure.
It's a valid question.
You're protected by the Constitution.
Oh, I love it. That's a good answer. So anyway, think of anything funniest?
Oh.
Weirdest?
Gosh,
Strangest?
Yeah.
I can remember hopping out of the Oleanders at the 76 station and breaking up a drug deal.
The Oleanders is your natural choice of a hiding place?
No, but coming from the Marine Corps, I know the difference between cover and concealment. And the gal's like, "Did you just jump out of the bushes?"
She was so surprised. She's like, you got me.
Well, no, she tried to hide it down in her
Okay.
crotch, and I grabbed her hand.
Good.
Let's see, another one. My son and I, when my son worked there, we were not supposed to ever work together.
Huh.
And I was a lieutenant at the time, and they were short-staffed, so they had me working overtime graveyard shift that my son happened to be on. And it's like, okay, well, you go do your thing. If you need cover, I'll come help you out. Well, we had a 5150 call in town, which is not that big a deal, except the father had been struck by the 5150. And it was a female. She was like 32 at the time. And the mother had dementia really bad and was in the house with her. So I showed up to cover or to help my son and actually Justin Tharp on this. And we could see her chasing her mom in circles around the coffee table. And she is naked. So all the doors and windows are locked. I kick in the back door. My son and Justin Tharp run in, and I hear Justin crashing through doors and walls, and this house was like a maze. There was a closet. Inside the closet was another door that went to another closet that she tried to barricade while she got up into the attic.
A naked lady in an attic.
So now we have a naked lady in the attic. My son's dealing with, trying to calm down mom who has dementia in the other room. Well, my son calls on the radio, and I'm behind Justin. I'd just given him a boost, had him stand on my shoulder to get up in the attic. And I smelt this horrendous smell. Well, Justin had stepped on dog poop before we got into the house and then stood on my shoulder. Then my son's screaming over the radio that he needs backup at the other end of the house. So I, go through the piles of stuff that was used to barricade the doors and make it out to him. And there's a leg sticking through the ceiling. And then a second leg. And Justin's hollering because now he's crawling through the attic. And
A clothed leg or a naked leg?
she would have not a stitch clothing on. The other leg falls through. And I look at my son and I'm like, okay, on three. And my son's 6'3". I'm short. So my son's got her by the leg. I jump up and grab the other leg, right? So that Justin can get to her. Well, she falls completely through the ceiling, right on top of both of us.
You got her.
We got her.
That's some father-son
But
bonding.
the jokes that went with that about the Hartley boys, to this day, that was probably one of the funniest
That's pretty
Very
cool.
moments working.
That's pretty neat to be able to be on the force of their son though and do that. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Even if some good jokes come of it. So
He's I showed up he showed up on one of my calls of a intoxicated suspect, and it was behind Cindy's backstreet kitchen back when Cindy's was there, and the guy was just rude and everything else, and I'm wrestling with him, and I get him in the back of my car. My son had walked into the restaurant, found his friends who were sober and totally calm, and brought him out in here, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, they'll take him."
Nice.
Instead of me taking him to jail. And then it clicked. It's like, you're going to be a better cop than I ever was. He still had patience. And so that was an eye-opener for me, slow down.
Cool. Well said.
I have a question on the 5150s, which the community probably doesn't care about, but I'm just curious. Do you guys prefer if you're the ones doing the 5150, or do you prefer when it's brought in and the doc does the 5150?
It doesn't matter, to be
Makes no difference.
honest, because it depends on the doctor.
Sure.
A lot of times we'll take them up there, and Dr. Stump will sign right off on it, and then we go up there another time, and it's another doctor. "Oh, no, you guys got to sign it." Well, it makes no difference
Okay.
to us.
I was just curious.
Nice. Well, shall we hear some statistics and the yearly brief?
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
This was so informative.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to resource this at your, annual meeting, so people can go on and listen to the more statistics again.
Yeah. Where would they show
City
up?
council meeting, it was supposed to go next Tuesday.
Okay.
It's going to go on the 28th.
This will
They
release
bumped
after
it.
the fact.
It's public record.
But
They can
if-
find it
Well,
on
the part, I'm not going to go into any of the great details, but I know how we're compared to another city in this county that's similar in size, just a hair smaller, and I don't want to drop any dimes. But in a year's time, and we have been down, we're authorized 12 sworn. We used to be 13. We're smaller now than we were in the 70s, which is crazy. Anyways, we've been down 3 officers for the year, and they were fat, and they have 1 more authorized, or 2 more they're authorized 14 now. And we're at 12 and down 3.
I thought you meant
Wow.
body habitus for a second. I was like, that is a bold
So
statement.
their calls for service in a year were 2,660. Ours was 4,743.
Wow.
Incidents is anything that a police officer responds to, whether it's the raven in the mousetrap or whatever, right? It's mostly proactivity.
Yeah.
Incidents for that city was 10,273. Incidents for this city were 32,749.
Wow.
They took 377 reports, so they averaged roughly just over a report a day for the year. We took 849. Traffic stops, they did 838. We did 3,470.
Wow.
So anytime somebody wants to compare us against anybody in the county,
Nice.
I say bring it on.
You're getting more bang for your buck. Well,
Absolutely.
the citizens are.
Yeah.
They are, and we truly care about our people.
Cool.
And it's more, and it's more of a cultural thing, cultural inside the agency. When I came here, at 38 years old. I wasn't a spring chicken, but I like to have fun. I was in the Marine Corps, and I wasn't, a typist in the Marine Corps. I was a combat Marine, so I very alpha male, I suppose. But to me, it was fun. It was like fishing or hunting, which that's all I do on my spare time. So I had a lot of fun, and I tell my guys, go out and have fun. You're doing a benefit to the community, and they love you for doing it. When I first started here, it wasn't like that. That's how I passed everybody up when I got promoted to corporal, passed everybody up when I made it to sergeant, all the way to where I sit now. It's, if the job isn't fun, why do it?
And it's going to rub off on everyone else because you're going to be miserable.
It is, but when I first started, I had sergeants and officers that would sit in the office on a weekend their whole entire shift watching TV and playing cards. It's like, this is crazy. Right before I started here, Bank of America, somebody had gone over there with a cutting torch and had time to cut out the night deposit box.
Wow.
And that same night, St. Helena PD and CHP were having a breakfast barbecue behind the PD. I mean, that's what I mean about culture.
Yeah.
You know, this day and age, you just can't do that. I mean, there's too many bad things that can happen. Sergeant Bianco, he was walking down Money Way one night and he kept hearing this tick, 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 and the Ragushi building on the corner, where it's owned by the Ragushis, that little gift and furniture shop.
Anchors? Or no,
the one they caught on fire.
Next to Anna's.
Vintage Home.
Yes, there was a guy in the back with a hammer and chisel taking out all the bricks to break into the place.
Wow. He really wanted some homewares.
You know, and if you aren't out doing that stuff's going to happen.
Wow. Yeah, you don't think about it here.
I think there probably is a lot of stuff that happens that I'm blissfully unaware, which I'm thankful for to a point, but I do feel very safe here.
Absolutely.
And you should.
Yeah, I mean, how often do I leave your house after a recording and walk home and I feel perfectly fine?
Good. Well, thanks to Chief Hartley and the team.
Yeah.
We appreciate everything you guys do. Keep up the good work.
Well,
glad to have you. And last question, how many of your officers listen to 911 on a graveyard shift?
That's a good question. I know of two that knew I was having this that have listened. Sergeant Peterson and Winter Masella. He's our school resource officer.
So, but now it's going to be a requirement.
Oh, I guarantee you they're all going to go on it now just because they want to hear this interview.
Officer professional development.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, normally we cheers, but we'll just, yay.
Well, yeah, we have some awful sparkling white grape juice to cheers
Yeah.
with.
Will you tell me how it is?
Cheers.
It's not bad.
All right, Hillary, how has your opinion of policing in St. Helena changed or been modified by this podcast?
I don't know if it's been changed, but I think it's been enlightened and just reassured.
I would agree.
Just with all the work it goes through, not only to become a police officer, but a St. Helena police officer, I feel is held to a higher standard, which is pretty cool.
Pretty good. And sounds like you've got a great team there. And Chief Hartley, great guy.
Pretty cool.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Stay tuned.
See ya.